Hi everyone, Leanne here from Jaded Blossom, and it is time for our November release hop. Hey everybody, so I'm using the stamp set Clear Gingerbread add-ons along with our new Gingerbread Calorie stamp set and our triangle card mat die and our word bubble dies. So fun stuff. I went ahead and pre-colored these images with Copic markers stamped in ink on 3's blackout ink, cut out using my Brother Scan and Cut with a 0.4 border. Very cute. And all the colors will be listed on my blog today, you know, in case you want to color them like me. Now, I'm not a professional, so I don't recommend it, but there you go. So I'm also using Pink and Main's Jolly 6-inch pad. So I went ahead and I cut a piece of this is just cheap paper, 4 by 5 1/4 inches, and I'm going to cover it in score tape. Now this is really thick score tape, you know, pretty handy, and I'll just cut it off, and I'm just going to make the whole background sticky is what I'm going for. So really quick and easy stuff. Now, I don't know about you, but have you loved this release? It is wonderful. I love all the images. They're super adorable. I just can't get enough of them. And funny enough, like I don't mind gingerbread, but I don't love eating it that much. But boy, do I love crafting about gingerbread. It's super cute. And like, you know, quintessential Christmas, really, right? So I'm just using Tim Holtz shears to, you know, trim off the edges. I'm using a thinner score tape for the center. I believe that's 1/4 inch. And I used my Teflon bone folder to make sure it was stuck down really well. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'll just trim off some overhang there. And I went ahead and I cut the triangle card mat dies out in paper tray ink white cardstock. Did that first. I'm going to use the release paper just to stick it down in place. And then I also used patterns from the 6-inch Jolly Pink and Main pad to, you know, cut out triangles. Now what I did was I cut out 2 inches of pattern paper on each side. I laid a 2-inch strip on each side of this die, and then that gave me enough in all the patterns to have enough for 2 cards. So I didn't really waste any. Now, you know, you could cut whole sheets and make a gazillion cards if you wanted to, but I just really wanted to make enough for 2 cards, and that's how I managed it. So I chose 1, 2, 3, 4 patterns, and so 4 2-inch strips made 2 cards, not including the frame. And now I'm going to quickly just add the triangles. That's the nice part about having it already sticky underneath with score tape like that. Now you could cover the whole thing like with Stick It. You can glue them down if you'd like to, but I just find it's easier to do it this way. You know, have an entire sticky background and then just, you know, put in your triangles like a little puzzle. There we go. Now I chose patterns that weren't too busy. You know, because this is going to be kind of a busy card. I'm making 2 full front shaker cards just for fun. And I wanted to choose some patterns that, you know, weren't too busy. I know they're kind of busy, but you know what I mean. So that's what I went for when I was designing this, like doing this card design. There we go. So sticking it all down. So now I have some acetate. Now these are left over from old sticker packages, and I just cut them down slightly larger than an A2 size card front. And I'm going to stick it to the front of this card front with some score tape. That's 1/4 inch score tape. And I'm just going to fold it around on 4 sides and leave the last side open so I can add my little shaker bits, which is totally fun. You gotta love that. So I'm just loving these full front shakers. I just find they're a blast to make and so easy. So basically you're just folding in the edges of this acetate sheet that you have. And this is just stuff that would normally get thrown in the garbage. So, you know, use up your packaging. It's fun. And there we go. So did all 4 sides. I'm just going to make sure it's stuck down well, and then I will cut the corners with a pair of normal scissors. And now I will be adding some sequins in those and some shaker bits and all that. I did 2. I only showed you, you know, showed you me doing one of them. Now I'm going to add, that is sprinkles. Those are Santa's treats, and those are from Buttons Galore and More. And I'm just going to add some to each one, which is kind of like, these are just so cute. I love them. And like I said, a little bit less dimensional than if you had like doubled up foam tape and all that jazz that you normally do for shaker, shaker cards. Now that is 8mm Cartwright's Moonshine Sequins. And I'm just going to add a bunch of those. They're nice and clear and shiny. And now I am pulling out Trinity Stamps. What is that one called? I'm digging around. Sorry guys, I had to actually find the little container. They're called Christmas Candy Jar Clay Candy Sprinkles from Trinity Stamps, but they will all be listed on my blog. Everything I use is always listed on my blog. What I'm doing here is I'm trying to concentrate some green ones in one, more green, and then the more red in the other. And now I'm going to quickly add these little clear jar add-ons that I colored with Copic markers, and I'll stick them to the card base on the inside. So the shaker bits will go in front of them. I should have done this first, but what can I say? I forgot. And I'm going to stick that down into my card. And that's just going to be adding to the background. That's the little gumdrops, super cute stuff. And then I'm going to just glue down stick down that top little piece of acetate, trim off the corners. And now that card front is basically done. I'll be adding my images and stuff in my sentiment, but basically that's it. So the other card I'm adding the candy canes to. Same thing, I'm going to sneak that down into the center, trying to get it in there. I ended up using my fingers, I think. It was like I had one of these days making these cards. These are the easiest cards you'd ever make in your life, but I kept losing stuff when I put them down. My craft room is a disaster from this release because, I was just, I kind of was blowing through everything like a tornado, and I couldn't find anything in here. I'd put something down, I'd lose it, I'd stop, I'd be like, darn it, where did it go? So I just was having a crazy day. So now I have 2 pieces of paper tray ink cardstock, one in New Leaf and one in Pure Poppy, and I'm just scoring it 4.25 by 11 inches, scored at 5.5 inches using my Martha Stewart scoreboard and my Teflon bone folder, and those will be my card bases. Now, these colors, like the green, it's close, and the red is close, but it's not perfect. But you've got that buffer of the white edge, and I find that's really forgiving. So, it looks like it matches perfectly. There we are. And now I'm just going to stick that to my card front with my ATG tape again. Get everything lined up, and I'll do the same to my Pure Poppy card. Getting that all stuck down with my ATG tape. Fun stuff. Get this laid down. I don't know. Do you find it's easier to line up things sideways? I do. I don't know why. I'm not sure. So now I'm pulling out the sentiments from that same Gingerbread Calories stamp set. And I'm just going to freehand stamp these using VersaFine Clair Nocturne ink. So I went ahead and I cut out my little speech bubble with white paper tray ink cardstock. And I've got my VersaFine Clair here, and I'm going to freehand stamp my little sentiment that says, wishing you a yummy holiday season, which is kind of fun, because they're little gingerbread cookies. There we go. I also use one of the other sentiments in the inside of the card a little bit later. There we are. I'm going to stamp both of those word bubbles, and then I'll start putting this guy together. There we go. So now I've got my little card front. I'm going to pop my little Santa gingerbread onto the front of it using my Stampin' Up! Dimensionals, the normal size and the minis, where I can't fit the large ones. I'm kind of dimension driven. I love my pop dots and my dimensionals and all that jazz. So there we go. I know I use a lot of them, but I like the card to arrive the way it looks when I make it, So there we are, pop him down on the corner. So I'm sort of covering the gumdrops a little bit. They're peeking out from behind him. And then I'm going to add the sentiment in the sort of upper left corner, upper third anyway. And I'm going to use my 3M foam tape to stick that guy down. There we go. Just trimming it so I get a perfect fit. And then that's about it. So like I said, all these images were stamped with Ink on 3's blackout ink. That's Copic friendly, colored with Copic markers. Did some highlights with my Sakura white jelly roll pen in a number 10. Kind of my normal stuff. Nothing too crazy. There we go. And then, I'm adding that last little gumdrop. There we go. And now I'm adding a piece of just cheapo white cardstock to the interior of my card. That's 4 by 5¼ inches using my ATG tape. There we go. And then I have an inch of paper from that same, what's it called? Pink and Main Jolly 6-inch pad. And I'm just going to add 1 inch of it to the bottom here. And I will trim off the overhang with my scissors. So, you know, really easy. I like to add something to the inside of a card. There we are. I'm going to do the exact same thing to my green one. Add that paper on. I believe that's Nina Solar White, like 65-pound cardstock. I sort of bought it accidentally. So I use it for my interior of my card bases. There we go. Adding my little sliver of paper, trimming off the edges. Great. Now I will go ahead and stamp Merry Christmas from that same Gingerbread Calories stamp set, using VersaFine Clair Nocturne ink again. There we go. I've sort of got my little Stampin' Up pad that's a mess underneath me, and I'll just stamp it right in the center, and perfect stamp. There we go, and we'll do it again using my acrylic block. There. How fun is that? So I love, 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 love these little cards. So now I'm going to pop on my little reindeer over top of the candy canes. And I am just adding my Stampin' Up! Dimensionals to the back of those, to the back of that reindeer. He's so cute. And I'm going to have him carrying the little candy cane in his hooves, I guess. I know that wouldn't work, but you know, this is magic, right? There we go. And I'm going to add my little sentiment. There we go, adding my 3M foam tape to the back of the sentiment. Same thing, I'm adding it to the top left-hand corner of my card. There we are. I'm loving these whole front shakers. I don't know, like ever since I saw Amy Rice-Savvy, that's from Prairie Paper and Ink, make them, I've loved them ever since. So now I'm going to pop up this candy cane and have it look like it's being carried by his little hooves, which is kind of fun. And you just gotta love that. How cute is that? I love it. So there's that card. There's that one. And now I'm going to add some Nouveau glitter drops in White Blizzard, just to that little gumdrop that he's holding on to, just to add a little sparkle, which is always nice. There we go. And I'm adding it, kind of using like stickles. Everyone remembers stickles, right? So anyways, that's what it sounds like. Don't you love a shaker card? So thank you so much for stopping by. Be sure to hop on over to the Jaded Blossom blog and be inspired by the whole team. And maybe hop on over to the Jaded Blossom store to get your hands on these adorable goodies. You won't be sorry. And thanks for watching all of these videos. I really appreciate it. And hopefully I will see you soon in my next video. Bye, everyone.